It's called The Invisible Man, but it reads as this emotional drama and the story of a woman who is finding herself, finding her strength, and finding her voice. Where are you? I think what Leigh tapped into is the emotional journey of this woman. He really did find something difficult to talk about and has been open to talking to me about it and me giving my own thoughts on what it's like from a female perspective. Adrian was a sociopath, completely in control of everything. Open the door! I think there are a lot of people that have dealt with invisible men in their lives, and these are real characters with real problems. That's what attracted me to the project.
Oh, okay.
It's not about something that you can't comprehend. It's not about something you can't wrap your mind around.
Quietly now, and go!
Early on, Leigh thought Elizabeth was perfect to do Invisible Man. If it weren't for her, the movie wouldn't be nearly as good as it is. She's the master of suspense. She can turn any emotion on.
Hey, you okay?
I'm okay, James. Look at me. He cut his own throat. What did it sound like to you?
Just really, really brilliant to watch.
So we can't be too far across.
The most physically challenging thing was the fight sequence that we did with the Invisible Man. I loved it when I read it, and so the pressure to do it justice is kind of huge. I've never done a moment like that, and I really wanted it to be cool.
Oh!
They wanted me to do as much of it as possible, although I had incredible assistance from my stunt double, Sarah. I have an incredible stunt team here.
3, 2, 1, go!
That was definitely really challenging. I felt I was pretty beat up the next day.
And we're 4, and we're 5, and
But it was fun too, because it was also kind of cool and gratifying. The thing emotionally to do was we shot the final scene the first week. So that was just a little bit of mind trip, trying to reverse engineer that and kind of think about what we wanted the final scene to be, which is this huge moment in the movie after all of this stuff has happened to Cecilia. Please, you have to help me. He's trying to kill himself. You have to come as fast as you can. Surprise. I'm very happy with it. I'm very proud of it, but that was definitely challenging because you're dealing with a lot of information that you don't have yet. So in a way, it was kind of cool because then we actually did know where we ended up, and it was a matter of just backing up from there. There you are. I see you! I see you! I take my work seriously, and I love what I do, but I don't take myself seriously. I have a full knowledge of how lucky I am. Basically, I just pretend for a living. I think everyone who signed up for this knew that it wasn't going to be the easiest job in the world. People are here because they love the material, they love the job, and I feel like people believe in the character, and it makes me want to keep going.
I've, of course, been a big horror fan for a long time. I've been obsessed with horror movies all through my teenage years. I was a big fan of these iconic horror villains, you know, whether it's Freddy Krueger or Pinhead. And I was very much interested in making horror films and interested in how they worked. And when I was researching this movie and preparing to write it, I discovered that there's really not been many adaptations of the character. That was an exciting opportunity for me, you know. I felt I could do something new with it. Right now we are in Gerringong, New South Wales. Beautiful Gerringong, as you can see. This is the first week. It's that strange time when you're learning to ride the bike again, like, oh yeah, this is how hard it is. Being a director, to me, feels like being a lion tamer. You're really not in control of anything. You just have a chair and a whip, and the film is the lion, and you're just hoping the lion doesn't get on top of you and rip your thorax out. So I think I have to go now. My assistant's just off camera. She wants me to leave. She's like, come on. Let's hope this thing goes well.
Yeah, I'm Leigh. If you don't already know that, that's probably a bad sign. I'm the director. I'm really excited. I don't get to do this very often because I'm a writer-director, so at best once every 4 years. So you have to forgive me if I get really excited. And the last thing I want to do is something I haven't worked out at all, but I'm just going to try and wing it. The prayer to the movie gods. So everyone needs to come in. Dear movie gods, please let the producers not get too angry when we're up to 37 takes.
Just a Monday night.
I'm not sure if I should be talking about this stuff, but we went over.
And please let audiences like us because we're trying our best. 1, 2, 3, go. Cut! Oh my god, a bunch of teenagers just lost their minds. One of them pulled their hoodie over their head. It's like, fuck that. Amen.
Amen.
Alright, let's do this. Let's make it film.
We're moving down to the track here.
So this is the exterior of Adrian's house in the film, and we're about to shoot an escape sequence, if you will. Action! Okay, cut. Back to one. You know what? We need to start from the dead center. I don't want to move to the dead center. I want to be in the dead center. Oh, yeah. Cut. Beautiful. Very nice. Very, very nice. What got me interested was the idea of doing a modernized version of The Invisible Man, how scary that could be. I felt like that hadn't been capitalized on properly yet in the way that I would like to see it, so here we are in Gerringong. All right, guys, first day's over.
Thanks, everyone.
Just put your hand up if you're going to be returning tomorrow.
It reminded me what it's like to make movies, which is basically, you know that moment in Raiders of the Lost Ark when Indiana Jones is running in front of the boulder? It's like that for a month. And the first day reminded me of that. So ask me again tomorrow if how far in front of the boulder I'm getting. Thank you and good night. Okay, so this is day 6. And we are killing somebody. It's always good to spill some blood. I've spilled a fair bit of blood in my career. I've snapped limbs, scalped people, ripped teeth out, hacked legs off at the ankle. But this is special. There's something classier about this. So we said we're going to start with the knife up here, and then when we call action, do the cut. There's prosthetic effects involved. I'm a big fan of practical effects over digital effects, but it's scary because everything has to go right. But when it does go right, you feel the energy of the set get bigger. And action! One of the things that's deceptively difficult is finding locations that look like they could be the US. What you see is our best impression of a house in the US. I shouldn't be giving away the trade secrets. I want everyone who's watching this movie to think that we're in the US, but we're not. I still had milk.
3 hours trying to find the right container for milk. This is what we do all day. You ever wonder why it takes so long to make movies? Milk is the problem.
Tonight we get to break some glass. This is all the effort you have to go to shatter one window in the film.
But yeah, he really just runs at it. You know, it's like a car crash in Whiplash. Like, we can see it, but she can't. The audience will see something coming. We'll be like, and action. It's 3 o'clock in the morning here in Sydney. Tonight, it's a bit of a cat and mouse with the Invisible Man.
And right up.
There's a lot of elements, so you really have to try to remember what the edited film will be like to keep the suspense in mind. There's a large piece of equipment moving through. 90% of being on a film set is standing in the wrong place.
And action.
I think I learned how to beat me
So I'm gonna truly teach you something.
Put your hands up! Cut.
Help, Leigh.
Well done, Lizzie! Hi there. I have gloves. They're a bit ratty, aren't they? So this is a major street in Sydney that we have turned into a street in San Francisco. Look, it's an American taxi club. We're about to show some footage from the film to the crew to show them what they've been working on. It's usually a good motivator. It's usually weirdly nerve-wracking. It's kind of the first time you've shown it. I think it went well. I think they liked it. They clapped at the end, so that's always a good sign. Today we're doing a big sequence of someone being attacked. Elizabeth Moss, to be specific. And we did it all with motion control, which is basically a robotic camera. But it's really, really difficult because with motion control you have to work to a count.
47, 48.
You need to do certain things at certain times because the camera will move when it's going to move.
Here we go, and go.
And 12, and 13, and 14, and...
You have to listen to the count while you're acting, which is a Herculean feat of multitasking that I could not achieve. But she just pulls it off.
3, 2, 1, pull!
31, and 32, and 33, and 34, and 35, and 36, and 37, and 38, and 39, and 40, and 41.
That's going to be the main song. Yeah, see? Yeah, alright, good. That's the one. So we just tried to get a really impossible shot coming out of a moving car, down the road, into another moving car. All handheld, achieved by people physically handing the camera to other people. But I think we got a couple of good ones. We did a 20 or so, 25 takes. And we're almost done. Seems like 1,000 years ago that we had our first little chat, doesn't it? I reckon when you get out, if you just sort of bend down almost like you're going to puke, I think we'll really sell it. One more, we're going to go right into it.
Okay, here we go, and 3, 2, 1, action! Cut! Hold the line!
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a wrap on Elizabeth Moss. So here I am. As you can see, the sun is rising over Sydney. We did that classic race the sun. Yeah, so it's a good feeling. It's always a good feeling on this moment. Everyone sort of comes together because the film set is a tense place. There's a lot of pressure to beat the clock, to get everything done. And then at the end, everyone just relaxes. You get to see people's true selves without being in a pressure cooker. But the journey's only just begun for me. Now I've got to cut it together. But I'm very happy with what I got. And yeah, this has been a fun one. Very fun. So, see you soon. The earliest recollection I have of The Invisible Man is seeing the iconography of that character. The trench coat, the hat, the sunglasses. It was exciting to think about what I could do with this character and how I could stretch him a little bit.
I think the most important thing is how do you make it current, how do you make it relevant to today, and that's what Leigh really did with Invisible Man.
You know, if you were making an Invisible Man movie, you would make it from the point of view of his victim. A woman who escapes from her abusive partner in the middle of the night and then finds out he's killed himself, but doesn't quite believe it, especially when mysterious things start happening. I felt that there were a lot of elements about that power that had not been exploited in the way that I would like to see them be exploited. It was important for me that invisibility be something the audience could accept. I didn't want anybody drinking a potion and then just disappearing. I wanted it to be something that was grounded in reality. I
I decided to approach it from a technological standpoint. I did a bit of research in how invisibility could be achieved. Usually it starts with military tech. You know, they're developing some sort of camouflage for soldiers that allows them to be invisible. I wanted this to at least feel grounded in reality. And I knew that I had to exploit his power in a ruthless way. Horror movies are so functional, they have this one job, to scare people. And so that's always the number one goal. And then as you're writing, all this stuff starts to bleed into it. When I'm writing a film, I don't like to approach it from the angle of a theme or a message. I like to put the plot down on paper and see what comes out. I didn't cycle through 10 different versions of this story. It really almost appeared fully formed in terms of a victim being stalked by the Invisible Man. You are making a film that is not entirely your own. It is based on some sort of intellectual property that is beloved in some way. There's a pressure there. So you do have to tread carefully, and I was very aware of that. I'm respectful and reverent of the character. But at the same time, I realized that I had to forget about all that reverence to make a good movie. And in that way, I'll, honor the character.
Where are you? Where are you?